got a brand new story, and I say brand new, this literally happened to me last week, and it's either 2 minutes long or 15 minutes long, and I'm going to overrun. So I'm just going to go with it. If we've got time at the end, I'll just take questions. Now, before I start into this story, it's very important, you are not allowed at any point during the story to feel pity or concern for me. That's just ground rules. All these cancel culture comedians, like, oh, it's so hard because you can't control how the audience reacts. Yes, you can. Tell them. No pity, no concern. I have written a list of emotions that'd be good for you to feel, but it seems a bit much now. Intrigue, excitement, ecstasy, and overwhelming hilarity. Preferable but not mandatory. So a bit of background for my story. I've been trying to engineer myself a hot boy summer, which unfortunately in rural Wiltshire is more like a hot boy bank holiday weekend. That's as much as you can get out of it, really. And I found this guy on Grindr, and he was 22. I'm 21. A match made in small town heaven, honestly. So, genuinely, it is a privilege to be born in the same decade as the person you're hooking up with in rural UK. It's like, honestly, just pages and pages of just like men trying to be sugar daddies, but they've not really got any sugar. Stevia daddies, if you will. Anyway, I found this guy, he's 22, he's attractive, he seems to like me, and so I thought, well, let's go meet him. So he sends me where he lives, and I forward it to my friend so that they can send him a thank you note. No, obviously not, it's an address book of potential murderers. But I said, no pity or concern! No pity or concern! Right at the top I said that. Thankfully, it's not an address book of murderers, it's just like a kind of tour stops for disappointing hand jobs, I found. More the vibe of the chat with my friend. Anyway, he's fit, his parents are out of town, he says come on over, I go over about 11 PM, and it's very clear he is off his face. He's long dismounted his face. He's been to a Bauer family wedding, clearly. It would later transpire that he is coked up, or he could be. But he's keen, he's still attractive, and I cannot stress how much of a luxury this is. He did not qualify for a Sun Life Parker pen. So, I don't want to make it sound too transactional, but rural homosexuality is basically leveraging supply-demand, right? I'm a Brighton 2, but a Cornwall 10. Situation. So I go into his house, he's got a beer in his hand, and he's like, go. And he's closed all the curtains, and he's like clearly paranoid about the neighbours. He's like, just don't be too loud because of the neighbours, don't be too loud because of the neighbours. And there's one window that didn't have curtains, so what he'd done is he'd taken all the cushions from the sofa and bricked up the window with all the sofa cushions. Right? He's that worried about them, that kind of paranoid and off his face. And I'm like, right, whatever, let's just get into it. So we start kissing, and about a minute or so into the kissing, he says, I've got an idea. Now, that is a sentence used to save a failing marriage. Very unnerving as an opening gambit. So he says, I've got an idea, and I'm just like, right, whatever, I'm open-minded, let's go with this. So he tells me how to like set up. No, it shouldn't be set up for a hookup. I think that's a very worrying start. But I do it, and I'm sat on the sofa, and he starts to slide in behind me. Like, you know, like a little kid, like tries to displace you from like the sofa or like a seat. I'm open self in behind me. He's doing this, and he gets it slides down my back very awkwardly and slowly. And he's there straddling me. Now, I appreciate straddle is normally a very sexy verb. It's more of like a two-man oops upside your head. He sat there backpacking me. Both of us, completely naked, neither of us hard. I think that's an important detail. Well, like, it's understandable that I'm not hard. You know, I've got confusion-induced erectile dysfunction, right? All the blood is going to my brain to try and process what the fuck is happening. Like, my amygdala overflowing. Genitals, just regular old blood supply, right? Nothing going on. So understandable for me to not necessarily be into this, but this is his fantasy. The first thing he thought of, and he's insultingly flaccid. He sits down, and we sit there. Well, it must have been a few seconds in silence, but it felt like a full minute. It made sense in my head, like there's a minute silence for my dignity. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's not a deep sofa as well. Like, I'm doing a lot of effort to make sure I've got enough ass purchase to stay on the sofa, right? It's, you know, like when you see pictures in the Philippines of like 15 people on one motorbike. We're the back two passengers on an overloaded moped, right? It's precarious, that's what it is, precarious. And precarious is not sexy, right? No one's ever gone like, oh fuck, that glass is so close to the table edge. Oh fuck. He sat there, a few seconds of silence, and then he goes, so what now? I'm like, well, maybe, you know, let's back up a bit. We'll go back to the making out, and then we'll work our way up to your human Tetris fetish. Or whatever the fuck you're into. He says, okay, I'm going to go get a beer. So he goes to the kitchen, and as he goes to the kitchen, I see that he has the beer that he had when I came in. It was full. And I'm thinking, oh, he doesn't need a beer. He's got one here. He's going to get a knife, and he's going to murder me. So I sit in perfect silence and wait for my death. It comes back with another beer. And he starts sipping from the beer, and we start making out again. And I don't know, it's quite an intense making out session. I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit. You know, he is very attractive. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is, okay, I can kind of get into this. And then he stops, and for his one night hookup, he hits me with some unexpected romance. He stops, he says, I'm not drunk enough for this. No pity on me, son! Those are the rules! He says, I'm not drunk enough for this. Dear reader, I married him. So he goes to the kitchen to get another beer, and I look at two easily 3/4 full beer cans, and I'm thinking, okay, he put it out last time, but this time he's going to get a knife and murder me. So once again, I sip my face, and he comes back with another beer can, which he takes a few sips from, and we start making out, and it gets a bit more physical, and we're kind of on the sofa, and I don't know, I must have been like trying to generate some sort of passion in the room. I fling myself back, and I knock the bottom cushion brick of his barricade, and all the cushions come flying down. And I'm thinking, oh shit, and he's panicking, he's like trying to put it back together, and as I stand up and look at the window that he's bricked up, it's looking out onto a wall. It's a viewless window, right? This man is so paranoid, he's bricked up a viewless window in case neighbours were in his own alley. Right, this is messed up. So he stops again, he says, I need more blow. Which, normally, you know, very attractive naked man stood in front of me saying, I need more blow. Ideal, right? But clearly, some sort of monkey paw, cursed wish bullshit is going on. And so I'm thinking, this is the worst experience ever. It turns out he's got no blow left, so he says, I'm gonna go get another beer. And I look at his 4 beer cans, and I think, please get a knife and please murder me. So he gets his beer, he takes a few sips, he said, I'm just going to go for a quick cigarette. Do you want to come? I said, no, I'm fine, thank you. So he goes out into the garden, remembering a man so paranoid he bricked up a viewless window, goes into the garden to smoke a cigarette, fully nude. Fully nude. He was so paranoid, he just walks out, everything out to have a cigarette, and I think, I should probably leave. This seems like the sensible thing to do. So I get all my stuff together, I get dressed, I leave, I drive home. And I can't really sleep when I'm home, and I'm sat in my bed, I'm thinking, maybe just like the froth of the beer. And I'm looking back at the situation as well. I'm thinking, about an hour or so I was there. not a hint of a boner. Which I realised in a very sapphic crowd sounds ideal, right? Sounds like a lesbian mother coming back from her holiday. Oh, how was your holiday? Oh, lovely, not a hint of a boner. But in terms of gay sex, a fundamental failure. Actually, almost an impressive failure. Do you know how easy it is for a young man to get an just like that? Once, in A-level English, I genuinely got an erection over a poem that described some women's breasts. I was more aroused, I needn't remind you, gay man, was more aroused by a poem about boobs than genuine live gay sex. It makes it sound a bit more of a show than it actually was. And I'm just thinking, I'm going over this, and the one thing I didn't consider whilst I was going over the night's events was that what my unexplained disappearance would do to him in his state. He had a lot of cocaine and 3 sips of 6 different beers. He's not in a mentally good place to receive, apparently, a magic hookup that never... So, and the only thing I can assume happens, he came back in, he looked to me for, about an hour after I left, I got a message, and he just messaged me and he said, let me know when you get here. Existed clearly didn't happen. I must have imagined it. So that's how my hot boy summer is going. I do have a minute left if anyone has any very pertinent questions. Did I reply to his message? No, I promptly deleted Grindr and have not re-downloaded it since. By the way, I just realised, in case no one's familiar with gay sex, that was not standard procedure. I'm sure Tim and Dom can verify that's not how they broke in the new house. That's any final questions? No? No? Oh, that just made perfect sense to you. Okay. You've been absolute delight. Thank you very much. Cheers.